Um, if Jarell wants to talk, you're open to talk. I'd love to see how you're doing and how things are going for you in your business.
Hi, Juan.
Hey,
So,
good. Good to see
so
you.
I'm sorry, what?
Good to see you.
Haven't been on in a while. So I'm implementing those systems. Doing my first hiring now with those systems.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you know how seamless that goes.
Okay.
If I have too many hiccups, I'll probably be calling PipeHire. So
Okay.
yeah, I had one customer or one technician who was on medical leave for the last like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. So she finally left today and did an exit I had to do an exit interview with her. And I was talking to Jackie. She's like, "You should be with Juan. He has that in his system." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So there's stuff like that about PipeHire that I didn't know it offered. So if you have if you could go into a little bit more, I would love to know so some of those little things that you have in PipeHire. Like I knew about the onboarding and I knew about tracking tracking them, but I didn't really know about the exit process that PipeHire offered. What else does it offer that maybe I'm unaware of?
Right now, on the exit process, we have not much. It's the last step, but we have a simple Google form that we send out to people that are exiting, employees that are exiting, and then we grab that PDF and put it into the system. We have not built a specific detailed custom form for that inside the system. We just use Google Forms at this point. Excuse me. But we have a really good, the most important thing is the content of the exit interview, because you want to know why they left. And typically, what I've noticed is that most people leave either because they have a reason for they're moving out of town, they just can't work anymore, or we as a business fail to manage the employee. We fail as managers to run the business properly, and that's typically late payments. They're not motivated. There's not company culture. There's nothing holding them to this company, because they're like, oh, this is just another job. And that's really a problem that you need to fix at the bottom when you start hiring people and when you start to grow. You want to build that culture, and that culture is built throughout several months, and that is one of the most important things towards retention of employees. Obviously money is important, but company culture, advancement, opportunities to change, to grow, to do things, all of that, it's part of the culture, and that is really what holds people together for a longer time.
Right. I mean, right now I think I'm good on that, because I did ask her questions like, what could we have done different to keep you? And basically,
what did she said?
It's up here somewhere. Hold on.
I like your background, Angela.
I'm not really sure where I put it. Oh, it's in here.
With your car.
That we don't have anymore.
But the long and the short of it is she left because her doctor told her she needed an MRI, and I told her she wasn't allowed back without a doctor's note. But when I asked her what could we have done better, she says help with maintenance costs for her car. Her car was an old beater, and she drove it like she did class 4 roads with it. I'm not going to pay for maintenance on that car. She wanted benefits like 401k, stuff like that, and she didn't like if I took on a new customer for the next day, she didn't like that it was added to her schedule, even though I kept everything between 8 to 5. So just little whiny things.
Yeah, I don't like that answer for the last question. Because, she should, if the agreement is that she's to be available from 8 to 5, who cares if you put another job today, I mean, she should be open and be grateful that she has another house to clean versus going home early.
Yeah, she is coming from a place, like I said, she's been off on medical leave, and she used the time to get a different job with Safe Light, the glass.
Company.
Yeah, so she, you know, they offer all these things, and she knows everything, and she's so happy because she's going to be making $15 an hour. I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I'm like, girl, you're making like 22 an hour now. But as she was happy, I wasn't going to bust that bubble. But let's see. So I asked, what influenced you to leave? Benefits and career opportunities. Would you ever consider returning to the company? Maybe part-time per diem. What could we have done to keep you here? Not much. Did you feel equipped to do the job? Yes. Were you comfortable talking to the owner? Yes. What things could your manager or owner have done better? Nothing. Would you have described, or how would you describe our company culture? Laid back, professional, friendly. Did you share your concerns with anyone at the company when needed? Did you feel like a valuable part of the company? Yes. Do you have all the tools needed to succeed at your job? Yes. Do you feel your job changed since you were hired? How? No. What was the best part of your job? The environment. Did you receive feedback to help you improve? Yes. What would you change about your job? Nothing. Do you have any other issues or comments you'd like to address? No. So I feel like she was overall satisfied, just
Yeah.
wasn't the right job for her.
For me, sounds like there was not a good fit for this job for her.
I agree.
Seems like she was there because she needed to find a job, but she wasn't the right person for the right job. So I think that was one of those hires that you spend time, money, effort, and then just, I mean, she didn't did anything bad, or it's just wasn't the right person for the right job. That's what I feel like. When we have to leave have people have to go, we've noticed that they really like loved us, but they have to go into a different city and move out of town. And I mean, I can really tell when they're leaving, and I can feel it. So I'm like, okay, it's nothing related to my company. They just have to move on to another city, and that's fine. Or I noticed that we end up really like firing them because they really didn't perform, and they did something very bad that really could affected the company. But this person seems like lukewarm. She's like, is this an okay job? I mean, I can find another job. But I think based on my knowledge, I will say I wouldn't take her back if she calls you back.
No, I so after those questions I put on the bottom, like, is she eligible for rehire? And I had put her, she was like, I hired her in August, and she was like an A player in the beginning. And she had this huge personal issue, and right after that personal issue, she went right down to a C player type employer or employee. So I think she probably would have gotten phased out over time. Like, I wouldn't have given her any more customers, but it's good. She left on good terms.
That's fine. Let her go and don't hire her again. Now, what I will ask you is, do you think you can do something better to hire or not to hire people like her?
I do. I have noticed. So she's my second technician that I've hired since starting CBF. Or that was Brittany. She was my first one. Logan is my second one. And I have noticed that they both have similar traits. Like, they're both rednecks like myself. We like cars. We like being in the outside. And we're all kind of on the bigger side of things.
Yeah.
So, Logan, I have kind of deemed her as a little bit of a princess. Like, she doesn't like the deep cleans. when you find some of the grosser stuff. So there's something in there in my hiring. I'm a very gullible person. So when someone tells me something, I'm like, okay, that's true. So I've changed some of my questions that I ask. So I'm going to follow through with how this process works out with whoever I decide to hire this next go round. And hope that this is a better process. And if not, then I'm not going to play around with a fourth. I'll just go to pipe hire because that's what you do.
Yeah. You know, when you're starting as a new business, you tend to accept mostly everything as okay. And you tend to kind of go a lot by heart and what you feel as a person. But that's not really a good strategy.
That's not my strategy.
Because, you know, if somebody that needs a job and you see that they have 3 kids, they can feed the family, and, you know, and you really have that heart for people, then you might end up hiring this person, but this person might not be the right person for this job. So that's why I've insisted so much, and what I'm teaching is that you have a process to really determine if this person or this person is the right person for my company. And that is basically done at when you ask the questions, and those questions have points, and those points, you know, are from 0 to 10, and whoever answers from 8 to 10, then you know you have a good candidate that you can call into a personal meeting. Now, when you see them in person, you know, we tend to ask questions that are very open-ended. Hey, do you smoke? No. Yes. But those open-ended questions are not very good on the face-to-face interview. They're good when they're doing on the website, yes, no, yes, no. But when you have them face-to-face, you need to go, you really want to dig into their heart, into their mind, and you ask different questions. Let me send you here a link to the questionnaire that we use, that you can use. You can print it and use it in the meantime. And that questionnaire will help you with your next round. And you'll see that that you're going to have better results, because these are professional written questions that are really, there's no right or wrong answers. They're just answers that you then end up entering into the system or do it manually, and you get a score for that particular person. And that really, for us, is very important. You know, you have your questions for the application, and then you have your face-to-face questions. So those are the 2 ways we're really making our decision, you know. So go ahead and click that link, and you will see there that there is a link on the very top, says download PDF. Click on it, and this is a questionnaire that Debbie gave us, I think last summer, to the pros group with a call with Blue Skies. And they have a pretty good questionnaire on the bottom. Last 3 questions are related to attendance, career minded, and trends. And what you want to ask them is, you know, you want to ask those questions in person. That will help you determine who's the right person or the wrong person for your company. All right, I think you went muted. Let me see.
I got it, thank you.
Okay, got it, cool. All right, let's talk to Angie here. Angie, how you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm doing good. Business is growing again. I've got 3 employees. We're all solo right now. they are driving their vehicles. We no longer have these.
That's good.
Yep. We kept one of these vans. Bleh,
The other,
and
oh, okay.
one of them for emergency, but I have
Mm-hmm.
really lowered my overhead, and my lease is up in next month now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm talking about cutting it by 70%.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't go into the office anymore. I um, am working 100% from home.
Mm-hmm.
They come in, they do whatever. Um, for hiring, I'm using Blue Skies to recruit, and they pretty much have them, interviewed. When I get them, the applicant is to email me with, the 4 pieces of information like their name, phone number, and
Mm-hmm.
so I send out a text to them that day and invite them to a virtual interview, an online interview with Zoom.
Okay.
What that tells me is 2 things: that number 1, they can pivot at the last minute, just you, um, Jarrell, whenever you have to add a house to somebody's schedule. That tells me that oh yeah, I can make your call. So they can pivot at the last minute, and also that they can handle their almost tech savvy. They can handle technology, because we have House Call Pro. We use House Call Pro for our scheduling.
Okay.
But so far, knock on wood, the 3 ladies that I have love the solo model.
Yeah.
They own the homes that they clean. I have not had any drama since we went this. Yes. I got rid of my C and D players in one way or another, but
Right.
it was great. So now all 3 of them are A and B.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, first, congratulations on making those changes. I know they're not easy, and but they are necessary, and they're really very important at the core of a successful business. I've met a lot of people that have a lot of cars, a lot of overhead, and what I've noticed is that when you have a car, you provide all these things to them, you kind of tend to get lower quality employees. um, and people that are typically are okay making 10-12 bucks an hour, and you know it works for some people, some businesses, like the franchises have 3-4 people, they put them in a car and drive to 4-5-6 homes a day. But the model, the CBF formula, that Debbie gave us is really the best model of all. And I do run that same business model in my own cleaning business. And I've seen that, yeah, people tend to own the home. There's like, this is my customer, I am cleaning this home, and they tend to do a better job than when they're in teams, because the teams is like, no, I did that, she didn't do that, and this drama is created. And when you have that, it's like you can't correct anyone, you cannot point the finger at anyone, because everybody points to somebody else. So you want to really keep people accountable with this model. And also when they have their vehicle, you're not having to repair all these cars, you don't have to keep leases on these cars, there's one less thing to think about and be worried about. And that is some of the beauties of this solo model. So congratulations. Let me ask you, you mentioned that you use Blue Skies. when they give you the lead or the information about this person, what do you do at that point? What is your process after you talk to or get that information from them?
Whenever, you mean what, when Blue Skies gives me,
Yeah, the applicant or the candidate. What do you do after?
so the candidate, Blue Skies handles everything. I don't talk to anybody. Blue Skies tells the candidate, okay, now it's time for you to email Angie. And this is what you email her. And it's four things. I see a peekaboo, Jarrell.
Mm-hmm.
So precious. Let me look. It is their name,
Mm-hmm.
their email address, their phone number, and the position that they're hiring or that they're applying for. So that's what I'm saying. Whenever they send me that email, that's
Mm-hmm.
when I send them a text message right away. So it tells me that, and I invite them, hey, would you be available for an interview at 5 o'clock today or 2 o'clock today?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll send you the invite, and they'll come back yes or no, I've got to work or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then go back and forth. And once we agree to a time, then that's when I set up the Zoom call
Okay.
and I invite them to the Zoom interview at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And then whenever they call in, then we just I try to make it fun and easygoing, and so they're not so nervous.
Right.
So I'll tell them about me and what I like and what food I like, and be stupid, really, because I want to bring their nervous
Down.
down. Yeah. So then I had, before I hired the Blue Skies, I had a list of like 15 questions. How long have you been at your address? What frustrates you most?
What's your favorite food?
Right. So I had a list of 15 questions I asked every interview. Um, and I no longer have to do that with Blue Skies. They handle most of those questions for me anyway. So I just
Okay.
have to make small talk. And do you, our most of our homes have pets. How do you feel about pets? Just simple questions.
Okay. And at that point, obviously these people are already vetted, screened, and then you say, okay, we'll see you tomorrow for day one training, or what happens afterwards?
Oh, gotcha. Then I let them know that I am going to make a decision within a week or 2 days or whatever. And if
Mm-hmm.
they haven't heard back from me in a week, don't hesitate to reach out to me. So I let them know that I have other candidates, and I'm going to be making a decision.
Okay. And then you call them and say, hey, okay, I'm going to hire you. And at that point, you bring them into the office or your home, and then you do training day one, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I've got training for a full week.
Okay.
And I was using Debbie's model, and I'm kind of going back and forth because I'm not sure. I know Debbie does it a certain way, and why
Mm-hmm.
in the wheel, you know.
Right.
But things have changed with the COVID and disinfecting and the HCT. I'm certified HCT. I want to give them that information up front and show them this is what it means to clean, not to just go buy Fabuloso at at Walmart.
Yeah.
Wash rag, that's not cleaning. So
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I love the process. Looks like it's working out. Um, keep doing what you're doing, improving it. I have clients that use Blue Skies as well, but they do their own face-to-face interviews or Zoom calls, and whatever is working and giving you good results, keep doing it. And all of us have this model to follow, but there's always things that we can tweak and change. One of the questions that I see people asking on PipeHire now is if they are okay or comfortable wearing PPE equipment during pretty much the whole day. And this is a question that is popping up now constantly. And I suggest that you guys ask those questions now. We are asking it because some people might have issues with oxygen levels if they're using a mask all day long. My wife recently bought one of those devices that you put in your finger. Forgot the name of it, but and it tells, what is it?
Oximeter.
Oximeter, there you go. And we went ahead and tested the employees to see how they were doing, because you don't want anyone fainting on the job if they have problems with oxygen. So we might be forcing them to wear the mask, but if they physically cannot have the mask and they might faint in the process, you guys need to be aware of that as well.
The local news has a Q&A the last half hour of the newscast every night, and they interview a COVID doctor. Well, I say COVID, but a doctor in an ER who is dealing with these issues, and that was covered in one of the segments. And she said absolutely not, that the oxygen level doesn't drop. Otherwise, we surgeons would pass out during surgery. So
yeah,
there's that. I'm not doubting, that it's hard for me to wear the mask. And we are in South Texas where it's hotter than what.
Than hot.
Yeah. But I was going somewhere with this. So what I do is we have to, my policy is we have to greet the customer at the door with our mask on. And then once the customer moves 6 feet apart and goes to the other room, then we're okay to take our mask off, because it is hard to clean with that mask on.
Not mentioning the surgeons. I mean, I don't think they're physically moving as much as as cleaning techs are moving. So I think, his answer is perfectly fine for them. But I do think that, because we're sweating, we're coming out of to get something from the car, and, we're moving fast and carrying products and going up and down, bending, kneeling. And I think that we need more oxygen to do that than a surgeon, slowly working on the muscle, let's say. So,
right.
So yeah, our policy is that they have to wear it at all times. We've had customers send us photos from their own their own cameras, saying, "Hey, you say that you wear masks all the time. Look, here's a photo of your employee without a photo."
Wow.
Without a mask.
Wow.
Yeah. Nowadays, more and more people have these cameras, tiny cameras that you don't know they are there, and they're checking you all the time while you're working. I see this coming up every month. There's people with more cameras and more cameras. Have you guys experienced any of those?
Mm-mm.
Well,
No.
we have cameras in customers' houses, And I think it was Angela Brown that talked about it and gave me the idea. So my company policy is on your way out, you always give the camera a thumbs up. So I really like that idea. But as far as the masks, I have found it's really, really difficult, as you guys have discussed, wearing them. So I actually found today a place where I can get branded face shields because you can breathe a whole lot easier in a face shield.
Right.
So, and I think for like 26 of them, and they're reusable, it was, and branded, it's like less than $100 or something similar to somewhere around there. So I think that's what I'm going to be moving towards, because the masks just aren't, like, if I can't do it, and I'm in good health, so I feel like putting the expectations on my techs is really crummy of me. And the expectations there because it's regulated by my state that we wear something over our mouth.
Mhm.
I don't think it specifically says masks, but it says like a mouth covering.
Right.
So I think that gives the leeway to use a face shield. But I know like my techs don't always do the, it doesn't have the proper seal around the mouth. So
Right.
just like, I don't know if you guys have drywall, but you get dust in your nose and mouth when you drywall, even with a mask on. And I'm like, yeah.
I think, masks technology is getting better as all these things, COVID happens. And I think they're going to get better and better. And I think they're going to be so efficient that very little particles were going to be coming in and coming out. So, as you guys heard, a lot of the states that are reopening, the cases are going up again. And, we have to be really, I say, leaders in what we're doing, because other than that, we might bring, without thinking, we might bring the virus to customers' homes if we're not careful. I don't know if the face shield will be enough, because the face shield, obviously you have this here, but if you talk, these droplets can come out. But it's any, it's your business. You can do whatever you think is the best. But
well,
if a customer asks for a mask, I will say, okay, tell your employees, if you have the option and they ask for a mask, put it on.
Well, I think it's so difficult for them to keep it on.
Yeah.
Because of breathing, that they take it off anyway. So I think the face shield has a greater percentage of being on, and that prevents it from going out. And typically my techs are similar in height to the customer, and we ask the customer to stay 6 feet away at the minimum. So I think it's not the best situation, but I think it's the best situation to be implemented, at least for my business.
Okay, no problem. All right, let me check if there's more questions here. Do you guys have any more questions? Any of you, Angela or Jarrell?
I have a comment, just one thing about going solo, that our tips have increased since we.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I pass those on to the ladies.
Yeah, customers tend to kind of get very familiar and to develop that relationship with the employee, with that person versus 2 people or 3 people. And they tend to tip better, do better tips. And also you'll see it on Christmas, that they get a lot more money because they're now tipping, Sarah or whoever. And I've seen people, one of employees of mine, get $1,500 in tips during the last, during Christmas season, versus in the past they would probably get $200, $300.
Yeah.
So it is the best business model, definitely. No.
Agreed. Question.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you go into the office, or are you at the location where your employees come in and out?
No, I work mostly from home. I have a manager that's managing the day-to-day employees, and they go directly from their home to customers' homes. Dallas has gotten so much traffic that making a drive to an office it's a waste of time. I don't know if you're doing the same.
No, I'm
No,
I'm working from home
no, but do they go to your house or do they go directly to customers?
directly to customers. We have
Yeah.
an office, but I was just curious if anybody, like your manager, does your manager have face to face with them? Are your employees lonely because now they're no longer seeing their supervisor?
Well, I have my manager basically when he's doing inspections, he's also, checking the employees themselves, talking to them, giving them supplies, products, sponges. So he serves that dual purpose of being like a supplier of all the products and the tools, and also managing them, inspecting the jobs, and really being there for that. So if there's a problem with a customer or a house, he picks up the phone call, talks to the employee, talks to the customer. If the problem has gotten worse, then he goes to the home of the client, meets with the client, talks to him, and resolves the problem. I'm really at the office managing, in general, the company, um, marketing, the website, just keeping things going. And then I'm also obviously launched Pipe Hire, so that's a new venture that we started. So that is taking some of my time as well. But that's how my day goes. I have two little ones, so I'm without schools or anything. We're taking turns of taking care of our daughters. So that is kind of how my day to day goes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I have a question, or somebody here in the chat has a question for Jarell. Where do you find the branded face shields?
I will put that in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there's people asking for that question. All right. Cool. We got some 20 minutes to go. Let me go through, look some other questions. Kelly Klein asks, how do you schedule bigger homes, 6,000 plus for solos? Well, this is obviously not the typical jobs. Most of our homes are between 1,500 to 2,000 square foot or square feet. 6,000, yeah, we have to send typically 2 or 3 people to do those jobs. So, but those are rare occasions. I will say 95% of the jobs are solo. And when we get larger homes, we just send multiple people because obviously a client doesn't want somebody for 8 hours cleaning their home. So what we do is each person tracks their own time on their phone. And then we basically take those, let's say we send 3 people and they spend, 2.5 hours one, 3 another, and 4 another. So we get those, let's say that added to 8 hours total. Then we multiply that by our hourly rate, and that's how we get our total price. And then each employee gets obviously based on their hours that they clocked in, they get their payment, and that's how we make larger homes. But this is really a small percentage of the jobs. So I hope that answers your question, Kelly. If you have more, please post it in. Oh, here's the website. Let me send it. Disc Makers. Okay, no problem. All right, let me check.
Juan, I just got the email back from the company that does the face shields because I'm inquiring about branding. Can I forward that to you and you can put it
Yeah,
out to whoever wants it?
sure.
What email do you want that going to?
Support at pipehirehrm.com.
Support at pipehire.com.
Pipehire HRM. We're trying to get the Pipehire domain, but for now it's Pipehire HRM.
It is sent.
Okay, thank you. I sent, I have a friend of mine that does, she does basically clothing and things of that nature, and she's making for us some face masks with her logo. So we're waiting for them, and because we're spending a lot of money on PPE equipment. Somebody was asking me, how do we recuperate some of all this money going towards those products? And what we did is we're charging $5 per cleaning for PPE equipment. So, the job is $100, you say, okay, and there's a $5 fee for equipment, and then the taxes, and then you get the total. I haven't had any customer complain about that. Why? Because they are thinking, and this is the right thing, is we're entering with new masks, new gloves, new equipment, new sponges, and there's so many things that we're entering brand new to this home that we pretty much have to throw away once we're out. So when you provide this reassurance to the client, then it's gonna help you convert that client, especially if they're very scared about the virus. So they feel okay paying for those $5, which is really nothing. And that's how we're being able to recuperate some of the cost of the materials and the products, because I guess you guys noticed that those products are getting more expensive as natural. There's more demand for that product. They can really increase the prices, and that's what I've seen. Gloves right now are very expensive. We have to pay, I think, like $15, $20 a box of gloves. So it's really getting expensive, and we really want to, not make a bigger hole in our, budget with more expensive products. So we're asking clients to pay for it, and they're okay. So I give you guys that tip. You guys maybe can implement it. And you can also start with like $2.50. We started with that, but then we noticed that really, $2.50 is really not enough. But once you start you're doing hundreds of jobs per week, then it starts to become. I think we're doing like 120, 150 jobs per week times 6 or 4 weeks. That's 600 jobs in a month times 5. Then it starts to become some way to really pay for all these goods and supplies. All right, let me look through some more questions here. Somebody asks how do they sift through a lot of applicants within Pipehire? There's really not sifting through within Pipehire, really. There is a stage of applicants, and there's a stage of incomplete applicants, and there's a stage of qualified applicants. So you could have 100 applicants in the system, but you don't need to look at all the incomplete ones and the non-qualified. You just want to look at the qualified, and you want to look at their number. And now let me show you a sample here. Because that is really the benefit of a system, is to have somebody do the job for you, not you not you do the job, because you don't have time for that. You really have time for just running your business, and that's it. And that's what most people love about PipeHire so far, is that time saving feature. So let me share my screen with you guys and show you how that works. So here, for example, I recently hired a new developer for a company, and if you see here, we have hiring full-time senior full stack developer, and in here we have 46 applicants. And if you see, we got, I never read through 46 applications. It's a lot. I don't have time for that. So what I did is I just looked through the scores, and I started by the qualified. So I had to really look through these people here, and I can look through the detail. When you have compact, you have detail view. On the detail view, I wanted to look at experience. I wanted to know what languages they code. And then I don't even have to click on their specific application. I just look at, detail view, and then I look through here. And then I started to drag people to the right side. And then at that point, I tell them I wanted to meet at certain day, and then the system will send them a text message and will send them an email. So I really don't have to call them or anything. I'll just say, this is the time for the interview, and this is the link for the Zoom interview. And then whoever shows up to that interview, then I know they're interested. I didn't have to waste time on any. So after all this process, I end up hiring one person. I put 2 to test for 2 weeks. And then I end up hiring John, which turned out to be a great hire. And, let me show it here. So if you see, out of all of those people, I end up picking him. And that is how, I save time. So there's really no sifting through applications. That's really the answer. Okay. Let me see more questions. All right. Luis, do we have any questions you want to send my way? Or anyone that has a question? Okay, let me look for more. Okay, how do they find quality applicants? It's a needle in the haystack. Isn't the same for everyone? I think when you don't have a clear process, it's really the needle in the haystack situation, because you're waiting for that perfect person to show up and solve your problems. And really, you have to have a process. So you're not looking for that needle in the haystack. When you have a process in place, you know that whoever goes through this process and comes out, that's the person you want to talk to. You want to meet them in person and put them to work. I remember before I was using PipeHire that I had to go a lot by my gut feeling and my instincts. That is okay. But when you have to hire 3, 4, 5 people in a month, that is really, is not the recommended way, because you're gonna make mistakes of hiring people that way. So I really recommend that you have that clear process. You have their questions, you have their scores, and whoever goes through that and comes out on the other side, that is the way really finding quality applicants. Now, there are questions that you can create that will help you uncover better applicants than another applicants. For example, one of the ones I recommend is you could ask, how do you clean a bathroom, for example? Describe it. And you have a box, a section where they can type. Those type of questions that are kind of you're picking on their brain will help you determine a lot. So if you see they say, I grab a bucket and then I start mopping and then I spray the toilet, and then basically the way they describe the process, it can tell you a lot about that person. You can also ask, how do you clean a kitchen? Describe the process. And by the way they type on that specific question, you can know how they're thinking, what's their process in their mind, and that helps you determine or compare apples to apples. You can also ask mathematical questions. This is one I have on my questions. I'll type it here. It's 2 plus 2. The question is, what's 2 plus 2 minus, and you open a parenthesis, 4 times 4 equals. So I just type it there. So what's 2 plus 2, and then minus parenthesis 4 times 4. Obviously, this is a simple mathematical equation or question, and and I've noticed that if people don't know sometimes these very basic math calculations, it's a problem. Why? Because I know that the education level of this person could be very low, and I'm not asking for anything very complicated, but I want to know if you have at least the very basic information or the very basic knowledge to work in my company. Because most people think that hiring a cleaning person is like, oh yeah, whoever can clean a house, I'm gonna hire this person. And in reality, that's not the way it works. There is a specific people, there's a specific group of people that are designed to work on this. And when you're thinking that anybody can clean a house and be a great employee, that's not how it works. You really have to have a focus and a target of what's the type of person that you want to hire. So these mathematical questions, simple as that, or you can create your own, and not more complicated than this, but that helps you as well finding different quality of employees. So I hope that answers the question for for you guys. Let me see more questions. Kelly. Hey, Kelly. Why don't you unmute yourself? I see you have some questions.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was on the live before and now I'm on the webinar. So we primarily deal in larger homes. We have over 30 homes that are 6,000 plus. Mm-hmm. We used to be teams, and we recently went to solos, probably like around December. Mm-hmm. Some of our clients don't mind them being there all day because like we can work per floor, get out of their way. The mm-hmm. problem is when COVID hit, we're having to wear masks now, and it's very, very hot for somebody to, work steady, 7 to 8 hours. So I wanted to send in a team of 2. Mm-hmm. Their morale is kind of going down too by working solos. And I'm just I don't want to keep on going back and forth, like putting them in teams, taking them off. Because we only did teams of 2. We never did teams of 3 unless it's an initial deep clean.
Right.
My question to you is I'm trying to find the best way of how to do that. Going into bigger homes, having a team of 2, like, and them even being in there 3 to 4 hours with a mask on, just consistently working hard. Do you allow your employees to like go off and take a break outside for 15 minutes or, and like you said, people have cameras all over the place, right? Like you can't pull them down, and even like going underneath the nose is not recommended either. So it's like, but like I said, we probably have about maybe 7 that are 10,000 plus. So we
Oh
have
gosh.
larger homes.
Where are you
Uh,
at? What part of town are you at, or country?
We're in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
And we're just blessed enough to have that kind of target market. Because I mean, we also do ironing and laundry services, and we also do meal preparation planning and chef type of things as well. But our primary revenue is cleaning.
Cleaning. Okay.
But I'm just trying to find a way to balance it out without having like telling the ladies, we're going this way, now we're going this way, now we're going back. Right.
What percentage of your revenue is these larger homes?
So cleaning last year, I think we made 300,000.
But in a percentage.
I'm sorry, larger homes. I don't know, probably around there. I mean, we have most of them pay about $300 a week, and we have over 30. So whatever that would.
Okay.
I'll be quite honest with you, I'm not good with the numbers.
Sure. Well, you have to. Answering your question is, yeah, we allow them to go out and take a break and eat something, because when you're doing these larger homes, you're burning calories very fast. So I do let my employees go out, and if it's like between 12 and 1 p.m., they can go out, stop their timer on their phone, go out and eat an hour and come back. Obviously, if that's the decision of the employee. If they feel like they need to go out, they will do it. I don't force them to completely finish, and because they're under, or I mean, we're their employer and we have to take care of them. And I let my customers know, hey, if lunchtime comes by, my employee might go out for an hour or less to grab something to eat and then come back. So, but don't worry, we're not going to charge you for that time. We're going to stop the timer. So I let them know that allows the employee to really take a break, rest a moment, and then come back re-energized and finish the house.
If there's two of them, one wants to take a break and the other one just wants to finish.
Well, are they both tracking their hours independently?
So we're on the pay for performance. So I mean, they track their hours, but I mean, their hours really don't I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's by billable hours.
Yeah, I do. I mean, we do same pay by performance, but we're tracking how many billable hours they're doing in a week, so they can hit 42, 45, or 48, right? So if somebody stay for 4 hours doing this house, obviously she has more hours to hit her, 30 something hours to get the highest percentage. So we do, allow them to separately each track their own hours, and we pay them based on the hours tracked on those specific larger jobs. When it's a simple home, 3-bedroom, 2-home, obviously, the job is $100, and we're paying 48% on that job, then it's $48 for that person. So I do allow those larger jobs to be really paid by the hours tracked versus the price of the job.
Okay.
Because
that's actually a really good point. Thank you for that.
Yeah, because this is what happens when you have such a larger house. People tend to, obviously the bills are bigger. And sometimes they're going to ask you, let me see the track time on your employees. I want to see, you're charging me $400, but how many hours they stayed at this home? And, we were like, but we charge just per the job. It doesn't care about the hours. And we've noticed that we really need to tell the employee and the customer, hey, we track 4 hours here and 2 hours here. The total is 6 hours, labor hours times 40. That is the price, versus giving them a large price and maybe staying less time. So we noticed that we were more comfortable doing that when we were selling these jobs and when they were asking for the time. Because some people might ask for that time and you're like, we stay just 4 hours and we charge $500. People are going to start to question, if you're too expensive or not.
Okay.
So that's how we handle it. I hope that answers the question.
No, awesome. One more question about solos. How do you keep team morale up when they are working most days by themselves and they're not really coming to the office? They're going from home to the office. Like even them talking to, the field manager and myself, like how do you keep them engaged with the company and they don't feel like they're on their own?
We do webinars. Well, we're doing about every 2 months. We're doing like a group workshop in in real life. So we have we have food there. We have some prizes, some games. Obviously, a section where we teach something. We explain new content. Uh, so that they get to see each other, all the people. Now, when they're working in other homes, the larger homes, they get to see each other.
Mhm.
And then obviously, and I'm doing about a month and a half to 2 months, I'm doing a a Zoom webinar with them. So I feel like that is enough. I
Okay.
don't think more often is needed. Uh, and also we do obviously we have a WhatsApp group in the morning. Every morning, we put a scripture on our website, on our WhatsApp group. We comment on it. We post some photos, some videos, some things to kind of keep everyone engaged. And then we feel like with all these touch points, it's enough. I wish we could do more and face to face, but I've been running my company for about 15 years now. 10 of those 15 years have been really remotely most of the time. So my employees are really accustomed working with me like that. And that face to face with the manager and all those other things seems to be enough for them to stay engaged with the company. And obviously, a good pay, good benefits, good company culture, all of these things add up into, hey, I feel like this is a good company, and they're making good money too. So that is how
Wonderful.
we could keep company morale up.
Thank you very much. I very much appreciate your time.
No problem. All right, guys. So our time is up. If there's any more questions, please post it now, or unmute yourself. We're gonna allow for the last question. If there's any more. I see Jackie here, Jarell, Angie, Luis. All right. Okay, so every 2 weeks, guys, we do our webinars. Typically, we share some knowledge. Today was a little bit different, more of an open Q&A. And, there's so much information to learn about house cleaning. So I recommend that you guys, keep, if you're on the CBF program, starting with it, continue towards the end. You cannot implement 100% everything in the same year, but the most important thing that you want to for sure have in your business model that you're doing is the pay by performance model and the solo teams. Why? Because that is really the core at the model, is the pay by performance, because they're going to make more money, they're going to work less, they're going to be more rewarded. And that's really the biggest game changer in your business. If you were doing teams or something else, this is what's going to make the biggest impact in their business, in their pocket. And if nothing else works, if these one things work, you're pretty much on the other side. So that's my last words. I see Jackie, she turned on her camera. Hey Jackie, how you doing? Let me unmute you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was driving and I'm
No
like,
problem.
I couldn't turn on my video and I couldn't talk to focus.
Yeah. How do you been?
Yeah, I've been good. It was a crazy busy day today, but I'm out of the field, so that's good. I did some spot checking and I went and did a 10K run in the woods and went back and did another spot check, and now I'm coming home.
Cool. Glad to hear that. I feel you guys have that business under control and growing, and
Yes, that's the goal. That is the goal. Push hard. With COVID, it gave us a chance to do a reset completely
yeah.
and really vamp the systems a little more tighter and push to get brand new employees, which was what we've done thanks to Wi-Fi. It really helped to vet that out. And just keep pushing forward.
Cool. Well, thank you, and glad to see you. And thank you. Send thanks to Jamie. He was great in the webinar yesterday. So
yes.
if you have
I couldn't
any
join.
question?
Me, no, actually, when Kelly asked that question, that's kind of where I was sitting at too with the morale side of things. I felt it today when I showed up unannounced on a spot check just before. And this one particular girl who's usually very up and bubbly and jumpy and like typically,
Yeah.
her energy was kind of depleted this week. Came in from my customer relations, my coordinator, staff coordinator. When they
Yeah.
were texting, she said her energy is not as good, you know, it's a bit like depleted. So that's why I kind of showed up a bit earlier just
Yeah.
to kind of see what was going on. But I think it's super important. I think I'm going to really start to use Slack. I never really use it much, but I think the Slack, like the WhatsApp, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be good every day to be able to just check in with them, you know, show a little video, you know, inspirational quotes, just things
Yeah.
to make them feel that they're still part of something, right? Because I go completely solo, except for big homes like Kelly. If it's a big home, I don't let them work more than 6 hours alone. I'll just throw somebody else in, right, to help them. But they
Yeah.
still work very separately. They're not on the same floor working together.
Oh, yeah. 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 The morale is important, and you know, it's kind of a weakness of the solo model, but I think we've overcome it. We're on our third year using the solo model, and really is the WhatsApp chat where, you know, we talk, and you know, sometimes I record a voice and send something to them and explaining them something, you know. Sometimes that feels very real, and I haven't really found my employees really morale going down. I feel like they want, or they like me, they like this model more because they don't have to go
Yeah.
to an office, they don't have to wait for a teammate to finish so they can go to the next house. They feel like they have control in their day, and they finish their 3 houses and then go home, and they go, and you know, I feel that's working for us. So
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what one of the things that I have Jamie, because he has 3 new hires with the last process, part of the interview process. But we're going to tweak and pivot the questions as to talking concerns of independence, right? Do they enjoy working independent, or would they prefer a group setting? Because I'm finding the ones in 17 years I've been in business, anyone that loves to be independent and likes to work by themselves has always been good in my solo model
yeah,
base.
yeah,
The teams, I think the particular girl that I'm talking about today, she always worked in team setting. So this is the first time in 2 months now she's working solo. So I think that's what it is. It's just really about
yeah.
adjusting. She needs that reassurance. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question to ask on your application. Do you feel comfortable working solo or in teams, or what do you prefer? And then you can give a score to those that say solo, because it's
Yeah, because
really
that's
important.
I think that's also going to help with the morale, right? Because some people
Yeah.
love to do it solo. Like me, I like to get in, get out, personally, right? But some people like to have 2 people. You know, they have that sense of security. I don't know why they like to.
They just
I like
have
to
to
get in
like
and get out.
people around them, especially when we're doing larger homes that we feel like
Mm,
we're not gonna come out. Those homes tend to just be so overwhelming
it can be, yes.
that you're like, gosh, and when you have somebody helping you, then it helps out. So yeah, I always send, you know, I think it's anything above 5,000 square feet, we send 2 people.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah, 5,000. Below that, they can handle it.
All good.
All right,
But other
good
than
to
that,
see
I'm
you.
good for now.
All right, say hey to Jamie, and thank you
I
guys.
will.
This is the last question. I noticed Gina enter, but I don't know if she has a question before I hang up. Gina Cordell. If not, we'll just call it a day, and we'll see you guys in the next 2 weeks. Oh, like she unmuted.
Yeah, hi.
Hey Gina, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. I got the timing wrong. I was thinking I've obviously missed it. So
Yeah, we normally do 6 p.m. Eastern, but today I have something to do at church, so I'm kind of doing it earlier.
so what is that? What is that central?
5 Central.
Okay, because that should be 7 my time, and it's just after 7 now. So I don't know what happened there.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. Do you have any questions, Gina?
No.
No?
I'm just so stretched for time. I haven't had time to play around with it as much as I would like. So that's why I like to attend the webinars to
Okay.
kind of keep it fresh
Fresh.
of mind, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Well, on the top left on the side, there's a section called Help Center. If you have questions there, you can look through our questions section. And if you need some help at any time, you know, implementing or helping you in more one-on-one call, you can also look for implementing Pipe Hire section. Then you can book a time with me, and then I can help you with
Okay.
any of those one-to-one calls. All right.
Okay, appreciate it.
All
Thank
right,
you so
guys.
much.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Happy 4th
You
of
too.
July, everybody.
Bye-bye. Have a good, happy 4th of July. Bye-bye.
Bye.